Hi, and welcome to day 13 of Counting the Omer. We have already walked quite far into the desert together. And today we are in this new energy. Every day we shift. The Sephiroth we are diving into today is the Yesod within Gevurah. Yesod is all about connection, attachment, intimacy, sexuality. And this Sephiroth is in our sacral area, the sacral chakra area. Together with the Gevurah, if these two energies are diamonds were shining in its brightest light and they were purified, and we were completely in one with this aspect of God, we would be one with everyone. We would have felt this complete oneness, union with everything that is and everyone. But most of us aren't, and we haven't ascended to that level of consciousness yet. At least I haven't. And this is where I have the most challenge in my life. This relationship between me and others, especially men and intimate relationships. But not necessarily only that. So imagine if the Gevurah is in its shadow and you are completely driven by fear and wounds and trauma, and then you have the Yesod in its shadow as well, which is sexuality out of kind of balance. My pattern, and I know many women struggle with the same thing, is this relationship I have with sex and men and not being able to say no when I'm not ready, or when I don't really want to, or if I'm connecting with someone and I feel like something is not right, I don't feel one with this person, or there's something between us, and still I'm going there. And I observe this in so many. And then on the other side, you have women, and I've seen myself doing the same thing, using the sexuality to manipulate. Because when we want something or someone and they don't reciprocate that, or there is some interest in some sort of connection, it's so easy to try to manipulate someone or the situation so we can achieve or have what we want. And using sexuality, using sex to manipulate, that's really a feminine shadow. On the other side, you have the masculine shadow in this, who just takes what he wants without giving the support and giving the divine masculine commitment and love and care that a woman so much need to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel in union. I have memories of being raped and killed in past life. if it's my memory or a collective trauma, I don't know. I can't say that this is what happened to me in this or that life, but I still have the memories from it. So whether it's mine or someone else's, it doesn't matter. And we all know that this has been going on and it's still going on. And by the way, I'm not talking only about man and woman, because we all have the feminine and the masculine energies within. And it doesn't matter if you are a woman and feels attracted to women, or a man feeling attracted to a man. I'm talking about energies here. So just wanted to announce that. But anyways, there is so much human trauma when it comes to sexuality. We have been out of balance in this Yesod throughout all times, I believe. And this energy is so strong. The sexual energy, it can be so healing if it's used in the right way, or it can be so devastating if it's used in a harmful way. And as a collective light warrior or healer, I've been working with this energy for a long time now, and I still have nightmares of abuse and seeing things that I know didn't happen to me in this life, but I kind of pick up the trauma in the collective, and I have to work with it in my dreams and of course when I wake up from them, and this is alive in my body. So since I'm here to heal the masculine and the feminine energies and the trauma between them, this is often alive in me actually, and I need to work it through my body and my awareness and consciousness. So together with the Gevurah, if both of those containers or sephiroths are out of balance, and we are driven by fear when we connect with people and we connect through the sexuality, it can so easily lead to trauma or unwanted situations. Or you can use that power to really, really do black magic, actually. So the more powerful you become, the more aware and conscious about this power, the more responsibility is required from you. So the whole counting of the Omer is really all about going through this purification process, becoming more and more conscious about all your power. If we were purified, the diamonds were shining in its brightest light, we would be living together in communities like the Essenes, or like the Native American tribes, or here in Norway, the Sami people. And your partner, your twin soul or your counterpart would probably been, already well known to you, because it was all written in the stars. And the elderly, they were all aware of who your partner was. Of course, sometimes things goes wrong and God has another plan, or things doesn't go exactly according to the stars always. But I think the more conscious we become, the more attuned we also become with the constellations and the universe and how it works and how we can fit together with another person. And I believe that before we came here to Earth, we already came with a counterpart. At least most of us did. This is really my journey, to do this healing work together with a counterpart. And everything that's between us, all the trauma between us, it has to be worked through and released and healed and forgiven. And I know many other people who are going through the same thing, who has this strong, innate knowing that they have a twin soul here. Not just a soulmate, but a twin soul that's something different. And I'm not telling you to go out and try to search for your twin soul, because if you have one incarnated, he or she will show up in divine timing. So how can we allow this beautiful rose to flower and then die and release one petal in divine timing when it's ready to die? For me, it's really all about forgiveness. When I experience that I have a meeting with another human being and something gets triggered in me, I immediately go into that wound and try to figure out where is this wound coming from. Because if my mind was in alignment with my higher self, there would only be love flowing from me towards this person. Even though that person might be unconscious about his or her behavior, and the behavior wasn't really good, but I could still be in this state of unconditional love and light. So whenever I feel that, oh, there is something here which doesn't feel right, maybe I get afraid, or maybe I feel angry with that person, or something just feels off, or I feel like a person have really hurt me. Normally I feel hurt because I have some wounds that haven't been fully forgiven and healed and integrated in my past. Either in this life or a past life, or maybe it's also in the collective. So it's a part of me. It's a part of my DNA. So if we truly want to become one with Source, going inside every time there's a trigger, not to take the responsibility, oh, it's my fault, I'm the one who's not purified and I'm not whole yet. No, it's not about that. It's about being able to see that other person, see the action from a neutral perspective, and seeing that maybe this action wasn't really aligned with that person's highest self. And that's okay. I can forgive that. It's human. And the moment I forgive, and the moment I go inside and I meet that inner child who was hurt, what I create is wholeness and more love within myself. I had this beautiful picture some weeks ago that some people are like roses, but they are hidden behind thorns. So I try to reach out or connect with them and have some sort of relationship or co-creation or working together or whatever, having a friendship, having some sort of intimacy. But that other person is so protecting him or herself or pushing me away, or I can't really trust that person because he or she is not able to follow up our appointments or whatever, you know. It feels harmful to me, and it feels painful to try to connect with people who act out of their shadow self and not taking the responsibility for it. That's painful. But I can still hold them in love. But I don't need to try so hard to make that friendship happen or make that relationship happen. I can release them. I can't heal everyone. They're on their own journey. But I can see it for what it is, and knowing who to really go into deep intimacy and connection with, knowing who I want to have sex with. For my part, the last few years have really been about making sexuality so sacred. That's the moment I reach heaven. That's the moment I become one. That's when I experience God within in the most intense way, actually. But not everyone is able to go there with me. And if they are not, I don't want to go there. Then I'm better off alone. But it requires this Gevurah, this strength to say, no, thank you. I would rather pass this one, you know. I have to admit that I struggle a little bit about what I see in the tantric some westernized tantric communities. The intention is good, but the energy for me just doesn't feel right. It becomes like a drug that we also use, you know, connection with other people and sexuality like we would have a smoke or have a drink or eat sugar. So knowing where our desires are coming from, is this a desire to really connect with God? Or am I just driven by a desire and an attachment to something or someone? It's a constant inner contemplation. Where is this desire coming from? Is it aligned with God's will? And how will my action, what kind of consequences will this action have? So we are a bunch of lonely people out there, you know, so we seek out communities, and it's nothing wrong with that, but that energy of attachment and neediness, and for me being like almost like an object to someone's unmet needs from their childhood. That's how it feels to me sometimes when I go to these kinds of events, and it doesn't feel good. And I'm not saying that everything is like this, and I'm not trying to make a judgment here, even though it sounds a little judgmental, but I'm trying to bring some more awareness into our decisions and where we are coming from when we go into connecting with someone else. And it's nothing wrong with having needs, unmet needs from a young age, but when we realize that we do have that, I think going inside is a better option than trying to have those childhood unmet needs being met by someone else out there, outside of ourselves. Because if we have healed those wounds, if we have fulfilled ourselves with God's light, because the love is always there, and we can fulfill ourselves by just tapping into the river of love. You will discover that actually you don't need anything from anyone. And when a connection happens, it happens in union. I had a meeting with a friend a couple of weeks ago, and he said to me that he have, tried different kinds of directions, or in periods of his life he has been allowing his desire or lust to guide him on his way. He's been just doing what he wanted to do in a way. But it brought him quite many, unwanted consequences. That's not being in flow. It's kind of the opposite, because when we are in flow, we doesn't always know why we are being sent to somewhere or someone. For instance, 2 weeks ago, I just felt this knowing that I was going to sing, and I went to this workshop where we were singing together. And I connected with a person there who I'm now going to create some music with. But I didn't go there with any need. I didn't go there with any desire to connect with anyone. I was just going there because there was this inner calling. My soul was kind of knocking on the door, nudging me a little bit. I think you should go on this event. When we are in a relationship, on the other hand, it is important to address our needs, to be open and intimate, to be clear about our boundaries, to be true to ourselves, to express ourselves. Especially if we see that the other person is actually acting from a shadow, not committing or not showing up or not being there. It's interesting, I've been guided to watch the series Sex and the City lately. And I was like, why do I want to watch this? It's so, how to say, it's not very high conscious series, but it's so much about relationship dynamics. So I can look at it from kind of student eyes and observe. And yesterday I saw an episode about Charlotte. She had married this guy Trey, and he has this impotency problem, and they can't talk about it. They can't find a way to communicate about this problem. And Charlotte, she is so broken. She feels something is so missing in their relationship. So communication and expressing one's needs in an intimate relationship is just something that has to be there for a relationship to really be a strong and healthy relationship. And I need to practice this, especially if there's a small conflict, between his or my needs, or I'm afraid that what if I express this need and he rejects it, or she? I think most of us carry this abandonment wound or separation wound because we separate from God when we are born into this world, and that hurts. We separate from ourself, our highest self, when we start to forget who we are. And this creates suffering. And if you have experienced early childhood trauma, this split between you and your soul becomes even greater. And that void between you and your higher self and God feels like a giant, giant void full of darkness. And there will be this constant feeling that something is missing, something is lacking. There will be this constant longing after something. And this longing is kind of good because it will drive you forward. It will kind of drive you towards love. But if we look after that on the outside, the void will become even greater. The lack, the feeling of lack and loneliness becomes even more and greater. When we are one with Source, when we are one with God, we are so filled up with love and light and beauty and joy and harmony and peace and glory. And we feel one with everyone. And this is really also Yesod. When we have removed all those doors and blocks between us and other people and us and God, the experience of oneness and the potential of experience that in the material world is really related to the Yesod. And together with Gevurah, it's all about knowing which person to connect with and who you kind of want to direct your love away from sometimes. You can still hold that person in love, but maybe you don't want to go into a intimate relationship with everyone. And the more powerful you become in your divine feminine energy, the more attractive you become also. So then it's especially important that you learn how to say no. I think the feminine nature, when it just vibrates in love, it attracts so many people. And the masculine feels that, here's a woman and she's full of love. I just want to go there. But you can't be intimate with all of them. At least I don't want to be that. But that's my journey, my path. But I can use this energy to give them healing, to show them the truth, to show them their shadows. And I can be very clear with where I come from. And allow the love which is me, which comes through me, to go towards them, but be very clear with what this is all about. This has been a struggle to me. It's been difficult for me to understand this attraction, and at the same time wanting to be friendly and loving and give that care they are coming for. And the divine masculine, the more powerful he becomes into his divine masculine energy, the more attractive he also becomes, and the more women will want to have his energy. Because the man is the giver. And when the woman senses that, oh my God, this man has a lot to give, he will also be attractive. But he needs to know who will he share this energy with. This sexual energy or this deep, deep intimacy. Because he's responsible. Because when he goes into a connection with a woman and he gives from that power, he gives from this endless sexuality that comes through him. On the other side, if there's a woman there and he just wants to give in one moment and the next he's not there, she will definitely feel unsupported, used, unless they have an agreement that this is how our relationship will look like. So we are all responsible for how we use this energy. And it's up to us if we want to really align this beautiful, beautiful, sacred sexuality, align that with God's will, and create beautiful relationships in our lives which are based on unconditional love, which are not trauma bonds or full of codependency. Where we are equal and where we grow together. My dream the other day about those two planets being forced together by the hands of God. It was really a dream about twin souls coming together, merging together, becoming one with each other. And this is God's will. I strongly, deeply believe in the union between a man and a woman, or the masculine and the feminine. I'm not talking about the sex here, I'm talking about the energies. Whether you're a man and a man, or a woman, doesn't matter, but there's a union between two people, and the potential we have to feel that union with God, between us, between me and another person, there's a potential to feel God. And we create together, we come together and we create something. What is it that we want to create? Am I here face to face with you to create peace and love and harmony? And if that's my intention, probably that's what's going to be created. If the other person is with you on that. May we all have the experience of union with each other, with God, with light and source. May we send this intention and this hope that one day the humans will be able to be with each other in peace. All wars will come to an end. And because our consciousness has ascended, we know how to live with each other in peace and harmony. We know how to communicate and share love and share joy. Releasing all kinds of unhealthy attachments and releasing all kinds of stories and traumas that has been. So dear God, teach us how to forgive each other so we can become free, so we can create love and peace and harmony. Amen.